Hello all, so let's discuss our lecture number 3 and it is dedicated to support vector machines. So this is the most important technique in machine learning and it is also used nowadays. Even though it was very much popular earlier and after neural network it was said that SVM is now no longer useful, but in some application even nowadays SVM is really useful. And we'll see the basic idea behind SVM in this lecture. And then in subsequent lecture, we'll derive all the mathematical proofs and then at the end, Python and so on. So it can do classification as well as regression. So almost all techniques can do this. So this is also having its application in classification as well as regression. So firstly, we'll see about classification and then we'll see about regression and then we'll see the hands-on of the both. So don't worry. Now, let's say we have the data set. So I'm just taking a lame data set. Let's say these blue points are our positive points and red are negative points. And let's say we have to separate this data set. So a simple thing can be a line that can separate. So I can draw a line like this or like this or like this, anything. So now the question is which line is the best? Yeah, whether this line will be the best or this line or this line. Yeah. So in order to answer that, let me just erase these lines again and let me have some more points. And even in red I'll be having some few points as well. Now again I'll draw the line and I'm just drawing two lines. First I'll draw in the middle of them and let's say one more with the green color and let's say I have this line. Now I'll ask which one is better, this yellow one or green one. So a very simple answer will be I can say the yellow one. But why? Why not the green one? So let's see what is the drawback in saying the green one. So you can see that this blue point is very near to green line. So and in logistic regression, if you can recall, we know that we have the separation based on probability, that if my probability is greater than 0.5, we'll say it's of positive class, and if it's less than, we'll say it is of negative class, and even we can include equal to in positive class or in negative class, doesn't matter. So in that we know that this point will be having the probability close to 0.5 because this is the line which is separating these two classes. So this will be having probability close to 0.5, whereas some farther away point can have probability of 0.8, that is 80% or something, or even one more point which is more farther away in this region can have probability even more, like 90% or even 95%, yeah, 0.95. So the closer is the point to the line or the classification line, we can say that its probability will be close to 0.5. And due to this, what will happen? A slight change in the line, let's say we have a slight change in the line, can misclassify this point from this region to this region. Yeah. And that's why it's best to have a line which can which can be at the maximum distance. Yeah. So you can see that this line which classifies, let me call it as a plane pi now. Let's call it hyperplane. Let's consider general case, even though it is 2D, this is a line, but in nth dimension we call the line as hyperplane. So and let's denote it by pi. So this hyperplane pi will be the best that separates the two data set with the maximum margin. Yeah, so in technical terms or in machine learning terms, this is called margin. And what SVM does is that SVM finds the line that maximizes this margin, and we'll see the mathematical proof, and we'll have the problem in mathematical constraint, like constraint optimization problem that we call, and we'll see that we'll use this maximization of margin in order to frame the problem of our constraint optimization. So let me write, we have to maximize the margin. So SVM maximizes the margin. So you can consider this as a street. Yeah, and this is the widest possible street, you can say. So SVM tries to find the widest possible street, and of course, let me just now name them. Let's say the red points are negative, so this is pi minus and this is pi plus. So this all these planes will be parallel planes, or I can say hyperplanes. So all these hyperplanes are parallel. And intuitively, why this is parallel? Because we know that in between two lines, if the lines are parallel, then only then there will be the maximum distance between two. if lines are not parallel, somewhere at some point they will be having the minimum distance, and we don't want this, because the main idea or the main principle behind this SVM is to have the maximum margin, and that's why we are using the parallel planes, and it has to be parallel. So mathematically parallel will indirectly signifies or amplifies that the margin is maximum. Yeah. So now let's move towards the particular case. Now there are some terms called soft margin or hard margin. So let me start with hard margin, and it's really simple. That let me just again draw the examples. Let's say I have red, and let's say I have blue, and there is again the plane separating this. This time I'll be little bit quick, and now you can see that this, maybe I forgot here, that this pi plus and pi minus, as you can see here, they will pass through the data point. You can see it is passing through this, as well as is passing through this negative data point, and here passing this positive data point. And this data points through which this pi minus and pi plus plane, that is the width, that is the extremum of our widest width or the road that we have, that passes through these points, are called support vectors, and that's why the name is support vector machine. So we'll see how support vector is used in mathematical terms in this lecture only. So these are called support vectors. Now, so always this will pass through the support vector, and this is our actual separating plane. So this pi is our actual separating plane. This is pi minus because red are negative data points, and this is pi plus because blue are positive data points. Now let me frame the problem. That firstly, before framing the problem, some of you might not know the equation of hyperplane. So let me write a generalized equation of hyperplane, and let me derive how I wrote it for those people who don't know this. So the hyperplane equation is given by W transpose x plus b equals to 0. Yeah. So let's say this is the plane pi. So W will be perpendicular to this plane. Yeah. For x, any point x on this data, on this hyperplane, I can say W is always perpendicular to x. So let's take a small detour and see how this is written. And I'll be back on this slide again. So let me just have a small detour, and let me just start with our school days. How a line is written, equation of line. Simple, some of you might recall y equals to mx plus c. But in more generalized form, I can write it as ax plus by plus c equals to 0. Because this I can modify again as y equals to minus c by b minus a by b into x. And this is nothing but more or less same as mx plus c. This can be considered as c, this can be considered as m. So it will be y equals to mx plus c, kind of. So this is a more general form. Now in machine learning, we don't have just 2D, we go to ND, 3D, 4D, even to nth dimension. And it's not convenient to write like this, because in 3 dimension, the plane equation is given by this thing, Cz plus D. So this is the equation of plane. Now hyperplane, when it comes, like we can be out of our alphabets in English, because we have just 26 and we have more than 26 dimensions. Like as I said, we can have 100 dimensions as well in linear algebra, and that is the beauty of linear algebra actually. So even though we can't visualize it, yeah, so the important thing is that we will change our notation here little bit. So what I'll write is, I'll write w naught plus w1x equals to 0. Yeah, it's like y equals to mx plus c, kind of. Or we can say ax, this is a c and this is ax. Similarly, for higher dimensions, I write w naught plus w1 x1, it will be better here. Let me write x1, w1 x1 plus w2 x2 will be equal to 0. So for a hyperplane in nth dimension, I can write w naught plus w1 x1 plus w2 x2 and so on up till wn xn equals to 0. So in more compact form, let me say w naught is as it is. Now in this, throughout this course or in any lectures that I'll deliver, always a vector is a column vector. This is a notation that I am fixing. Any vector is a column vector. Yeah, it consists of x1, x2 up till xn. So here in more compact form, can I write it like this, W transpose into X? Because this W transpose will be a row vector. So this will be one row vector and this will be one, X is a column vector. And we know that multiplying, let me just have one more page. It will be clear here. This is W transpose and this is X. And we know this has W1, W2 up till Wn. And this has x1, x2 up till xn. So we know that matrix multiplication will be simply w1 x1 plus w2 x2 and up till wn xn, and this is what we want, isn't it? So we can write this in a compact form or in a vector form as like this, and this is nothing but equation of my hyperplane. Yeah, and now I wrote that W is always perpendicular to the plane. How I can write this? Okay, so this is the homework for you, that why I wrote that W is always perpendicular to it, and I'll give the hint. The hint is that use the dot product formula, and we know that dot product is nothing but W norm, X norm and cos theta. Okay, let me just not give the hint because almost I gave you the answer. So, and we know that this is equals to 0. Yeah, let's consider for simplicity that our C is 0. C is the intercept or W naught. That is, we are assuming that our plane is passing, or our hyperplane is passing through origin. Yeah, just for simplicity. So when our dot product is 0, because this is the length, this is also the length. So it will be 0 only when theta is 90, because cosine is 0 when theta is 90. So we can say that W and X, they are always perpendicular. So for if this is a hyperplane, for any point X in here, the W will always be perpendicular to it, and that's why I wrote here that this is the W which is perpendicular to this hyperplane. Yeah, so now we are done with our small detour. Now let's get back to our SVM. Now what is hard margin SVM? So in hard margin SVM, we are not allowed to have anything in between, like even positive data point or negative data point, we are not allowed to. Yeah, so with in between the margin or on the road, we are not allowed to have any data point, whereas in soft we can have this. Yeah, so right now we are having this data points within the road or on the road, and that's why this is called soft margin. But we are discussing hard margin, so let me just remove them. So this is the hard margin. Now, so what linear SVM will do? Yeah, so linear SVM will predict our y hat based on this thing, that if my W transpose X plus B, or let me write W naught now, which is the bias term, is less than 0, we'll say that my data point is negative or class 0, and it will be 1 if my W transpose X plus W naught is greater than equals to 0. Yeah, even you can write B here, the bias term doesn't matter. Yeah, so let me try to frame the problem, that now how SVM will find the maximum margin plane. Yeah, the objective was to find the maximum margin plane. So indirectly we can say the objective is to have the highest margin. So I'll frame the problem of training. So because at the end machine learning, we have to train the model using the t-train. So given our training data set, that is our red and blue points, we have to find this plane which is having maximum margin. So how we'll proceed from here? So there are two approaches that I'll take. First will be, so it's just not the approach, you can say, it's just the way of thinking it. So first will be a slope based thinking approach. You can't say it as an approach, but it's just the way to think or to understand. And second will be the distance based. So let me have slope based approach first. So in order to explain it, let me just draw quickly one line, and let's say this is plus 1, and let's say this is minus 1. Yeah, and let's say this is there is some slope. Let's say this is a slope of, let's say this is 1 as well, so this is a slope 1. Now let me have something else. Okay, let me draw perfectly a straight line. Consider it a straight line. Now the slope is, this line is having a less slope, so this slope is more, whereas this slope is less. And let's have some particular number that here the slope is half of it as compared to this case. Yeah, so what will happen, since my slope is less, this margin, right now my margin is this much, but now since I decreased my slope, my margin will increase. And this is what we want intuitively. What we want is maximum margin between two planes. Yeah, because let's say this is our separating plane, so this margin should be maximum. So indirectly what we want is, we have to minimize our slope. Our slope should be as low as possible in order to have the widest margin. Yeah, in order to do that, we have to find the slope of our hyperplane, this pi, and we know the equation of our hyperplane, and that's why I wrote the equation of a hyperplane. We know this is the equation of a hyperplane, equals to 0. And what will be the slope of this? It will be, if you will differentiate it, then this will be your homework now, that find the slope of this line, and this will be norm of W. This is the L2 norm. I'm writing two things, yeah, L2 norm. So this is the slope. So our ultimate, what should be the objective function now? The objective function should be that we have to minimize, what we have to do is, we have to minimize the slope. Yeah, that is W norm, or I can write it as W transpose W. Yeah, and for simplicity, let me take half as a factor. Why? Because when multiplying W transpose W will be not differentiable. Yeah, so just adding 1 by 2 factor doesn't matter. So we have to minimize this slope, but provided, what will minimize? We have to find those W's and B or W naught. You can write, I'll use B and W naught interchangeably. So we have to find those W and B that minimizes this slope or this L2 norm of our weight vector, right? And half, why it is used? Just to have differentiability. Yeah, so in order to minimize this, so but there should be some constraint. Yeah, so this is an optimization problem, no doubt, but it's a constraint optimization problem. That is, there should be some constraint such that, now before forming the constraint, because the constraint will be the same whether we'll take the approach number 1 to think or the distance based approach. So let me have distance based approach, and then we'll write this constraint here such that what should be the case. So I hope things are clear up until now. Now we'll see just the other way to think, the distance based approach. So again, I'll quickly plot the points, and always consider these are the same thing that I'm trying to plot, even though I can't replicate it the exact same way every time. So let's say this and this and this is our separating plane pi minus and pi plus. Now what we have to do, let's say this is a distance D, let's say margin is D, and at the end what we want is, we have to maximize this distance. And if you will take any point on this plane, that is pi minus, and any point on this plane, we know the equation of both the planes. Yeah, so what can be equation of, we know sorry, and I didn't wrote the equation, maybe, yeah, of the pi minus and pi plus, I just wrote for pi. So the equation of pi minus, let me just write there only now, that the equation of pi minus is w transpose x plus b, but it will be minus 1, and the pi plus will be w transpose x plus b equals to plus 1. And I'm warning you, you can consider any number, but provided this should be the same, because all these three are parallel. So in between is w transpose x plus b equals to 0. And you can consider, it's not compulsory to have plus 1 and minus 1, but most of the books, if you will prefer, they will follow plus 1 and minus 1, but it's not necessary. Even you will use any constant number, doesn't matter. Only thing is that this 3 should be parallel, so you can't modify or add anything here. That is, you can't have twice of w transpose x plus b or something like that. Yeah. So if you will find any 2 points on this plane, because we now have our plane equation, then you will find the distance as 2 by norm of w. And here there is a no assumption about norm of w, that it's a unit vector. I'm not saying it, that it's not necessarily a unit vector. Yeah. So that's why this equation is not, this margin is not a constant thing. If we'll assume that w norm is, or the norm of w is 1, then this margin will be a constant thing too. So it will not be a function of anything, but I'm not saying this. So provided that this is not the case, what we can say, that we have to maximize this margin, that is 2 by w. Yeah. So again I am forming one more constraint optimization problem. So this is also optimization problem, or I can write it as constraint optimization problem. But provided, so we have to find those w's which maximizes this, also the b, provided such that now the constraint is the same. So now it's the time to have the constraint. So the constraint for the first approach and the second approach is the same, so I'll continue from this first approach now. So I hope things are clear now. So what we want is that in hard margin, so let me just take the new page again, that in order to have, yeah, so in order to have hard margin, so I'll draw this many a times, but I'll try to have be quick. So now what we want is that in hard margin we should not have anything in this region. Yeah, in hard margin SVM. So we have to form the constraint, that what is our constraint, that we should not have anything in this region. And how we'll write this mathematically, this will be our constraint. Yeah. So for this we'll use a very simple hack, and the hack is as follows, that if we want that if we want to have hard margin, that is we don't want any margin violation, sorry for this tongue twisting, then we need the decision function. So what is the decision function? Is nothing but our actual hyperplane that is separating it, that is w transpose x plus b equals to 0, or our pi plane. So what we need is that this pi plane, yeah, should be positive. We need the decision function to be, this pi plane should be greater than 1 for positive training instances, because sorry, no, this is pi plus and pi minus. Let me just quickly go through it again. So starting again, that this is our pi plane, this is my pi minus and this is my pi plus. In order to not have anything in between, all the positive instances should be here. That is, what is the equation of this plane? Pi plus, let me write, w transpose x plus b equals to plus 1. Sorry, here it's minus 1. So okay, I had the other way around. This is pi minus and this is pi plus, because blue are considered positive. So this is pi minus, and pi plus is w transpose x plus b equals to plus 1. So what I can say is that in order to not have any margin violation sorry, that what happens is that what should be the case is that all the instances, all the positive instances, or all this positive instances and all this negative instances should be greater than 1. Yeah, that is the decision function, that is this W transpose X plus B, which is our decision function, should be greater than 1 for this case as well. That is, all the points should lie here or should lie here. It should not be in this region, right? So this should be greater than 1 for all the points. So let's say we define one parameter called Ti for ith data point. So let's say Ti equals to -1 for negative instances and this Ti equals to +1 for positive instances. Let me just change the color. So what I wrote is here is that I am defining one Ti which is -1 for negative instance and +1 for positive instances. So then what we can say is that if my Ti and W transpose Xi plus B is greater than or equals to 1, then our hard margin will be satisfied. Hard margin constraint will be satisfied. How? So as I said, in order to have hard margin, we should have all the points either here or here. So that is, all the points should be above this pi negative or they should be below this pi positive in this region. So this is always, for let's say for positive instance, this is always positive, that is greater than 1. Yeah, because for positive this is +1, this equation I'm saying pi plus. So this will be positive for any positive instance Xi, and as I said, this will be positive, this we defined for positive instance. So both is positive. Yeah. So, and since we know that all the points will lie below this will be having value greater than 1. So if this entire thing multiplication, that is Ti W transpose Xi plus B, is greater than or equals to 1, we can say that all my points will lie here, or the other way around, that is, this is the equation of pi minus or the plane pi minus. So here what I can say is that my W transpose Xi plus B will be negative and obviously will be less than 1 because this equation is having -1 on the plane. So all the points on the plane will be having -1, and on this side of the plane will be even less than -1, -2, -3 and so on. So but we already defined Ti as for negative instance as -1. So anything multiplied with -1, so we are having this already minus value and we are multiplying with -1. So at the end it will be a positive number which is greater than 1 in magnitude. Yeah. So for both the cases, our constraint should be that my Ti, I am writing it again, my Ti multiplied with W transpose Xi plus B should be always greater than or equals to 1. And this is the constraint for any data point, whether it is positive or negative. I hope this is very important thing in SVM. And so now I'll write the constraint. Where was it? Maybe here. Yeah. So what is the constraint? Such that my Ti, I hope you know now how I define Ti, W transpose Xi plus B multiplied should be either greater than or equals to 1 for all training instances. So for all I equals to 1, 2 up till m, let's say we have m number of data points. Yeah, that is the total combination of red and blue data points is equals to m, let's say. And this, let me write on a very fresh page, that I am writing the training objective based on slope. I am minimizing on W and B parameter, W transpose W, but I am taking the half just for differentiability, such that my constraint is that Ti W transpose Xi plus B should be greater than or equals to 1 for all I in the training instance or the training data set. And this is nothing but hard margin linear SVM. Note that my data is linearly separable right now. We'll see the cases and what we'll do when we have nonlinear data, that is some data like this, and we have something like this. Now it's not possible to classify the data based on just a single line. Yeah, so this is a nonlinear data and we'll see this how we'll do this, and that's why I'm writing here this is hard margin linear SVM classifier. So this is the training objective, or we can say the objective function for our hard margin. Now in soft margin we'll relax our things, and what we'll do is that we'll be allowed to have some data points, yeah, in within the road, on the street I can say, yeah, and we'll also formulate this objective like this that we did for soft margin. So I think the lecture is little bit more, like little bit more in length I mean. So let me just stop here and we'll continue with the soft margin in next lecture. So the next topic is soft margin, and then we'll see the hands on. So stay tuned. Thank you.